Control air pollution. Air pollution is a serious issue that affects many people around the world. Many air pollutants can be controlled, and you do not have to live with air pollution in your community. The Air Quality Index, AQI, provides information on air quality levels, so you know when it is safe to go outside. In this blog post, we will offer some tips to control air pollution in your area. Control air pollution by recycle and reuse. Recycling is a great way to reduce the amount of waste sent to incinerators. But it also has its downsides, including emissions that are responsible for acid rain and global warming. With so much manufacturing taking place in China, the US, and other countries now exporting for our consumption, it is not surprising that these countries are having difficulties with pollution control measures on a variety of fronts, air quality being one such area where factories must adhere to strict limits or face the consequences from local authorities who have no qualms about shutting down operations if necessary. Pollution control measures need to be put into place as soon as possible before environmental damage becomes irreversible. We cannot continue this practice without repercussions. Pollution has been an issue around the world since ancient times when humans realized they had way too many people living within close proximity in order to grow food sustainably enough for everyone's needs. Nowadays, thanks largely due to population, the burning of fossil fuels is a major cause of air pollution that contributes to global warming. The recycling process reduces the need for these types of energy sources, thus helping prevent environmental disasters. Control air pollution by controlling population. The city is a bustling, chaotic place. As the population increases to unprecedented levels, there are more people demanding goods and services in these concrete jungles, and consequently, emissions increase as well, but not at the same rate. While per capita emissions decrease with an increasingly urban population due to increased efficiency of cities over rural areas where populations live dispersed across space, resulting in less total tons emitted for every person than would be if they were living tightly packed together like sardines within just one building or street block. It is obvious that the Earth's population is growing at a rapid pace. As the population grows exponentially, resource depletion is increasing at an alarming pace. This leads to environmental concerns like global warming and deforestation. These problems are more severe for people who don't have the means or access to natural resources. The increasing population and consumption levels are unsustainable. The World Watch Institute's 2008 State of the World report calculated that if current rates of consumption stay constant, there will be a global food shortage by 2030. The number one reason for this is our shift from rural areas to urban ones. The increased density leaves less space available on land, which contributes to an increase in pollution-producing processes such as manufacturing or transportation. What can we say about globalization? Studies like the aforementioned 2008 State of the World report have shown how these population numbers cannot sustain themselves with continued high energy usage. It has been predicted that resource depletion could lead us into what some call planetary boundary conditions. Control air pollution by avoiding plastic bags. Plastic has been around since 1907 when Leo Baekeland invented Bakelite, but over 100 years later, not much progress has been made on how long our favorite material breaks down. In fact, most of this waste ends up in landfills where it can take as long as 400 to 500 years before decomposing. During their time there, some toxic chemicals leach from the bag into water sources, making them unsafe and unfit for consumption by plants or human beings alike. And even worse, the smell of burning plastic is often considered to be one of the worst smells in the world. The fumes given off by this oil-based material are toxic, and no wonder it's so bad for your breathing system. Some would even argue that consuming these chemicals leads to cancer or future health problems with either respiratory issues or other diseases like asthma later on in life. So control air pollution to enjoy life. The smell of a melting pot being heated up can also create an awful stench if not handled properly from start to finish, as well as produce thick black smoke, which could cause lung damage due to its high concentrations of carcinogens such as benzene and lead oxide found within plastics themselves. Banning plastic bags is good for the environment. The recent bans in Tanzania and Zambia, following bans by Kenya and Rwanda earlier this year, are a step to cleaner air because Africa has many problems with waste disposal due to lack of water or landfills. It's an important first step when considering how much pollution levels have risen across Asia recently as well. It seems that we need all the help we can get these days. It is estimated that we use up to 20 billion plastic bags in the United States every year. Burning these plastics poses a health risk to all living things, including humans and animals like birds, which often mistake them for food because they smell like it. Control air pollution by reduction of smoke. Smoke from cigarettes and other things can be dangerous to your health. Smoke may contain particles, hydrocarbons, or nitrogen oxides that could worsen existing conditions like asthma by making it more difficult for you to breathe. If smoke exposure has been proven in studies, then the effects of smoking are real and should not be taken lightly, especially if you have any pre-existing conditions such as chronic bronchitis, because even a little extra strain on an already strained respiratory system means less oxygen being delivered throughout the body, which increases mortality rates. One of the main contributors to harmful air pollutants is smoke from burning of fossil fuels. These fine particles can cause chronic lung disease that can sometimes be fatal and debilitating. If you continue to stay in smoke, it can lead to lung cancer, asthma, bronchitis, and emphysema. Control air pollution. Control air pollution by using eco-friendly products. Use recycled cloths. Wearing clothes made of recycled materials is one way to reduce air pollution. This is possible because more clothing brands are offering clothes made with recycled plastic bottles. How does this happen? The first step is to crush the waste into small pieces and then mix it with old plastics in a large vat. This mixture is then a large liquid glob that all the ingredients are mixed together until it becomes solid enough for me, or you, to turn them into yarn. We can use this material in our latest collection of clothes. Stainless steel water bottle. Plastic water bottles are used often for short periods of time before they end up in the trash or on beaches. We can reduce the environmental impact of plastic water bottles by using stainless steel water bottles. A stainless steel water bottle has many benefits. First, tap water is 200 times cheaper than bottled mineral water. This container also keeps your drink cool, making it ideal for all situations. Last but not least, metal containers promote healthy habits by encouraging people to drink more from tap stations/fountains than they do from supermarkets. Kitchen compost. Consider all the garbage that builds up in your garbage bins. It is a lot. This can be reduced by two methods: first, by grinding food scraps, and second, by cutting leaves or grass clippings into smaller pieces that will rot more quickly. You can reduce chunks of London-sized size, thereby allowing you to save space for other important things such as water bottle, or at least I hope. Composting your kitchen waste and green waste can help you divert garbage from the trash cans. A large amount of municipal refuse can be composted to make fertile soil. This not only reduces production but also makes it more biodegradable. Control air pollution by planting trees. Trees provide many environmental benefits. They are beautiful to look at and can be a great source of shade. Direct and indirect, trees can improve the air quality. Indirectly, they shade surfaces and reduce temperatures. This helps to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Because trees help reduce climate change, their shade helps to lower the temperature of buildings where people live and work all year. This prevents them from using as much energy via standard cooling methods such as AC, air conditioner. Trees can have an amazing range of characteristics that can reduce urban air pollution. Cities around the globe are trying to find ways to use them. London announced plans to plant 7,000 trees in January 2019 to address their growing air pollution problems. Beijing is currently working on a green necklace of plants that will surround the capital's factories with more greenery and reduce the emissions from these industries. Paris plans to plant an entire forest, one that will encompass its most famous landmarks, in response to climate change and improving air quality. Control air pollution. Control air pollution by properly managing waste. The air is cleaner for those around us when we work to produce less waste. While it's true that some industries may have a more direct impact on our pollution levels, all types of industries contribute in one way or another. The most important thing to remember about the process is simply this: if you produce any type of substance, get rid of your leftovers responsibly and take precautions against spilling them where they will do damage. You can't see the air pollution, but it's there. When people create waste in their home or workplace, they also release pollutants into the atmosphere. Harmful gases and particles are given off by cars when we drive them on a road with no emission restrictions. Industrial sites that manufacture all sorts of goods emit these substances too. They pollute our water supply, and sometimes even poison us. So we need to control air pollution at any cost. In the early 1900s, New York City used to be a lot cleaner than it is today. Factories hadn't been built yet, and cars weren't as popular, so there was no air pollution from traffic or factories on their way into town with smog in tow. But what's happened since then? The city has grown exponentially, more people means more waste, which leads to air pollution. Now if you're going for a jog near one of those tall buildings like Trump Tower that have an open face, you'll see how much dirtier the sky looks because all this stuff gets blown right across Manhattan by wind pattern. It's not just about cleanliness anymore either. These toxins are bad for our health too. They make asthma worse and can control air pollution by cutting meat. Cutting meat consumption can help control air pollution, according to a recent study. As the population and demand for food continue to grow rapidly around the world, emissions of carbon dioxide from livestock are expected by 2050 to make up about 20% of all human-made global greenhouse gas emissions. This is more than any other sector in Argentina's agricultural industry combined, over 3 times as much. For every kilogram, 2.2 pounds, of beef produced means that 17 kilograms, 37 pounds, worth of CO2 has been emitted into our atmosphere. Since cattle have their own natural habitat too, they need grassland on which grazing animals like cows eat plants that convert sunlight into energy through photosynthesis just like trees do, but it takes way. Control air pollution by regular transport checkup. Air pollution is a major problem that affects people all over the world. Studies show it's possible to limit air pollution and keep your car running like new by getting regular transport checkups at any trusted mechanic near you. This way, we can help our environment stay clean for future generations while also saving money on fuel costs. The importance of having an annually scheduled maintenance with a reputable auto repair shop cannot be stressed enough when considering how much time and gas are wasted due to neglecting routine checks in order to save some cash now. When left unchecked, problems such as faulty brakes or worn-down tires could lead to unsafe driving conditions, which would result in either traffic accidents or wasting more gasoline than necessary, because these issues will only get worse without attention paid to them. Control air pollution by reducing trips. We are using too much gas and money because of our car usage. The average American drives 14,000 miles annually, which adds up to about 37 gallons per month or 444 gallons a year. Driving less is not only better for the environment and for reducing air pollution. It's also cheaper at around 30 cents per mile versus $2, $3 per gallon that we pay when filling up the tank with gasoline. This can add up quickly if you're driving 10,000 miles in your vehicle. Saving enough on fuel could afford an entirely new set of tires. That said, there are ways to reduce costs by having cashback programs or paying off old debts first before taking out loans for vehicles, since financing rates will be lower than interest payments on credit cards. Every time you get in your car, think about how much air pollution is being added to the atmosphere. The less we use cars for transportation and more people bike or walk instead, the better it will be for us. If every person who got into a car today thought, "I'm adding this amount of harmful gases into our environment," then they would probably take fewer trips with their vehicles, which would benefit everyone on Earth. Control air pollution by turning off extra lights. If you want to reduce air pollution, it's important to pay attention to the lights. Turning off extra lights during the daytime can help decrease pollutants that linger in our atmosphere and cause smoggy days. Air pollution can be reduced, and even eliminated in some cases, if we all just turn out the extra lights. Turn off the lights, turn on your creativity. We all know that air pollution can be controlled by turning off extra lights. In fact, it's one way to help protect our environment from harm and contribute to a greener tomorrow for us all. Turning off unnecessary lamps not only helps reduce energy consumption but protects animals as well, who could otherwise get injured or killed in flight due to bright light sources like car headlights and street lights shining into their habitats at nighttime. Control air pollution by education. The inhabitants of the Earth are choking on air pollution from a multitude of sources. Some ways to reduce this include educating and incentivizing citizens to buy more fuel-efficient cars or use public transportation, which would help conserve resources like gasoline and oil.